Hey guys, I'm here to share some of my experiences with my evil ex. The worst relationship of my life, and the one that I'm so grateful for because it kind of opened my eyes. And we all have that one special evil ex, right? So, anyway, she was an Estonian Erasmus student. For all you non Europeans, the Erasmus Project is an EU funded student exchange program which aims to increase labor mobility across Europe. But in essence, it's a great excuse for slutty students to just fuck around and have too much fun among total strangers who treat them like exotic princes and princesses. So, yeah, she was insanely promiscuous and proud of it, even boasting about her sexual path with men and women alike. I wasn't promiscuous at all, just only having slept with two women in my entire life, and she was 5 years younger than me. Anyway, I knew I could never expect anything serious from her, and to be honest, I wasn't interested in her at all in the beginning when I met her. So, anyway, she was like the village bicycle of my social entourage back then. By village bicycle, I mean that everybody had had a ride, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't impressed at all. Her body was sexy enough, but her face was kind of fucked up. Her pointy nose and chin made her profile view seem like an evil witch caricature. I kind of liked those brief conversations we had, though, and I liked the fact that she was honest about her sexuality. Little did I know then that the best way to hide lies was between truths. So, I was much more interested in other girls at the time, but I wasn't good at the game back then. Not good at all. And after she was done fucking with all the assholes, she probably decided that she needed a nice, dependable victim boyfriend, a sucker like me. So she approached me, very dynamically, and she made me feel good about myself. Her approach gave me much needed confidence because I was emotionally weak as fuck. I started liking her for that, but I was very defensive, not allowing emotions to develop for an untrustworthy slut like that. So I decided that maybe it was time to have some fun, like everyone else seemed to brag about. So I slept with her for a few times over the period of 1 week, I think. Then she suddenly started acting all hurt and stuff. She used to start crying so intensely out of nothing, shaming me and working on my guilt. She wanted a committed relationship with me. She wanted me to be her boyfriend, her exclusive boyfriend. She also wanted to move in with me, and she was acting as if she was the Virgin fucking Mary, who was robbed of her chastity. I was reluctant to commit because I could sense a trap, right? Then she played a jealousy manipulation trick with my biggest rival at the time, a guy that I deeply hated because he was openly challenging me constantly in my workplace. Then I flipped. My primitive instincts kicked. Kicked in, leaving no room for reason. I needed to be the male of the herd who won the female which was desired by the rival male. I felt weak, ungrounded, unfocused, and illogical. I felt feelings of love for her, but I know now they were fake, just like the pleasure caused by drugs, right? Pleasure with no substance. So anyway, I committed to her, and we were together for a few days. Then she began asking to move in with me, and because my flat was far away from her uni, that would mean me being her personal chauffeur. Plus, I know she'd save on rent and much of everything else. Told her I wasn't ready for that kind of relationship and she should give it some time. We should give it some time. Besides, she was an exchange student, even though she was thinking of staying permanently. The relationship should have been tested first, right? So then she goes on to create another episode with another new rival. the boyfriend of her then best friend. I felt disgusted with her behavior, and for once I thought reasonably, which was to leave her at it. I simply left the scene. The next day she called me, begging me to meet. I agreed, as a weak idiot. And then she starts whining about certain gynecological problems she's been experiencing. Blood coming out of her vagina. Even then, I knew it was due to her fucking around. I told her okay, and that I couldn't do much, and that I hoped she knew that we weren't together, because she couldn't expect me to believe that she didn't sleep with that guy the night before. She admitted sleeping with him. And then she went back to change the story and say that as soon as the guy tried to fuck her, her pussy started bleeding and they didn't go through with it. I said that doesn't get her off the hook, right? And she started crying hysterically, saying that she's always been insecure about that, and that her only way to feel good was to fuck around, and that I made her feel bad about herself, so I drove her there. What the fuck? She fucked with my guilt again, and she made me feel pity for her. Then she added that her low self-esteem came from her parents and that one of her previous boyfriends raped her. It sounds stupid now, but then I fell for it. So I took her in my arms like a loving beta male provider would do, and we would have a relationship for 2 years, although I still kept some emotional distance. She always claimed that I was her first relationship, although she had been having sex since the age of 11, her first time being with a girl. Unfucking believable, right? So the 2-year relationship was abusive. She was racist. She would always comment on how lowly my ethnic background was, and that her precious fucking Estonia was the most superior country in the world. And it's actually a common thing there, I think. She'd seize every opportunity to belittle me with that. She used to be so goddamn flirty in front of me, such as sit on other guys' laps in front of me, and then she'd whine about me being flirtatious just because I was generally nice to other people. She used to belittle me sexually too. I vividly remember one fucking time when we finished having sex. She sat away from me, her back turned, causing an uncomfortable silence. Then she turned and said that her father was very tall, and so she needed a taller guy than me, and she actually gave a specific example of a specific tall guy we both knew, and she was flirting with him in front of me, by the way. Sounds unbelievable, right? What was more unbelievable was me saying nothing and swallowing it, bottling it, causing issues to my confidence. When the person you've invested emotion in humiliates you this way in the emotional state after having had sex, your confidence gets fucked up. So after 2 years, I couldn't shake the subconscious knowledge of her objectively being an abusive tramp. You can bottle things up, but there comes a time when you need to face them. I felt betrayed, so as soon as I felt a little bit of a confidence boost, I cheated on her to feel good about myself. I know that wasn't good, but whatever. I turned into a dirty whore like her. After that, I acted very distant, and a few days later, she decided to break up with me with a cold text message and ordered me never to contact her. Thing is, I felt relieved at the time. I was getting bored with her because she had no personality, no interests, no character, and no ambitions. It was hard to communicate because her drug-burned brain was a very low IQ. Her sex was boring and monotonous. I still knew she was a fucking diseased slut. About a year through the relationship, she gave me a yeast infection for which she claimed it was due to her antibiotics, which she had taken many times before without any adverse effects on me. But I'll get to that later. Anyway, I was getting more emotionally grounded, so I didn't need her. I didn't need any woman, so I focused on my job, my education, and my training. Now,